Hey guys, today I'll be talking about scalar versus vector quantities in physics for kinematics. Let's begin with speed. What is speed? Speed is a scalar quantity, and it's often mistaken for being the same as velocity, but when we're talking about how fast an object is going without including direction, then we're talking about speed, because scalar quantities only focus on magnitude, they don't involve direction. And we can represent speed with a v, or we can represent it as the absolute value of velocity. And velocity, when we're talking about how fast an object is going in a certain direction, we're going to be talking about velocity, because velocity is a vector quantity, and vector quantities focus on magnitude and direction. And we can represent velocity as a v with an arrow on top to identify it as a vector. Alright, now let's talk about distance. Let's say you start at position A, which is your house, and you go on a windy road and you end up at position B, which is your favorite restaurant. Well, the distance is actually just going to be the total length of this path that you traveled. Distance is a scalar quantity, meaning magnitude is not magnitude, sorry. Meaning direction is not important when we're talking about distance. All that matters is magnitude. And you can represent distance as x if we're talking about the horizontal dimension only, y if we're talking about the vertical dimension only, and you can represent it as d as well if we're including both the x and y dimensions. And let's move on to displacement now. Displacement is a vector quantity, meaning direction is going to be important when we're talking about displacement. And displacement, you can represent it as the change in direction for the horizontal dimension, the change in distance for the vertical dimension, or the change in total distance. And this little triangle symbol is a delta, which just means change in. Right. And displacement is just going to be how far you are from the origin, how far you are from the starting position. So we started at position A, and then we ended at position B. So we're not worried about the length of the path, which is the total distance we traveled. We're only worried about how far we are from the origin, and that is displacement. Now, what about position? Well, position is how far you are from the origin at a specific point in time. So let's say after 5 minutes, you're at this position, which is, let's just say, 100 meters from your house, 100 meters from A. Well, your position at 5 minutes is going to be 100 meters, and let's say this is, let's say this is the positive x direction. Let's say going right is the positive x direction, and let's say going up is the positive y direction. Well, your position is going to be positive x and positive y because you're going up and you're going to the right. So your position at 5 minutes is going to be 100 meters to the right. And you can represent position as an x with an arrow on top if we're talking about the horizontal dimension, or y if we're talking about the vertical, or you can just represent it as d with an arrow on top to represent total distance. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much.